Greetings, welcome back to another review for you. This time it's Elegant Weapons with the album Evolution. It's coming out on Exciter Records on the 24th of April of 2026. Check it out, it's a great follow-up to the band's debut album. And this album was called Horns of a Halo, released in 2023. Now, if you'd seen the recent interview with Richie Faulkner, which I did last week, check it out if you haven't. It's a fantastic interview with some great funny moments. Please check it out and leave comments. So the new album, Evolution, released on Exciter Records. Now, this album's slightly different from the band's previous album. In places, is a lot more hard rock and blues, but still has the captures elements of the debut album. As we all know, the debut album featured Rex Brown on bass guitar from Pantera, and also Scott Travis from Judas Priest, alongside Richie on guitar and also Ronnie Romero on vocals, who was with the band Lords of Black. If you've not heard Lords of Black, check them out, great band from Spain. The band's debut album was released on Nuclear Blast and produced by Andy Sneap and Richie, who've done a fantastic job. This time around, it's still Richie and also Andy Sneap handling the production. Done a fantastic job, and it sounds really, really powerful. The band released 2 debut songs for the first album, which were very successful. We'd have Blind Leading the Blind and also Do or Die, which were great promotional videos. The band toured around Europe doing some festivals, which would feature Christopher Williams on drums, who's now with Accept, and would also have Dave Rimmer on bass guitar, who's the bassist for Uriah Heep. Now, these 2 guys have also performed on the new album alongside Richie and Ronnie. Now, we all know the debut album had elements of Judas Priest, which isn't surprisingly considering you have 2 members of Judas Priest on the debut album. Richie's guitar playing is phenomenal. He has his own distinct sound and vibe and tone. At times it could be compared to Zakk Wylde, with a mixture of Michael Schenker and of course KK and Glenn from Judas Priest. I also have to say that Richie's guitar playing also reminds me of Uli John Roth, Richie Blackmore, Gary Moore, and also Dave Manchetti from Y&T. So, as we all know, the debut album was a heavy album, had some really good classic guitar riffs, especially the new wave of British heavy metal. This new album, like I said, has more hard rock and blues elements. This new album, however, like I said, does have a lot more hard rock and blues elements, but it still captures the heaviness of the band's debut album. The production is second to none. Like I said, Richie and Andy Sneap have done a fantastic job on this album, and as we know, Andy Sneap has been producing albums with Judas Priest for the last couple of albums. So this new album comes with 10 tracks. Let's talk about the song titles before we talk about the songs on the album. So we'd have Evil Eyes as the opening track, Generation Me, Bridges Burn, Holy Roller, Come Back to Me, The Devil Calls, Thrown to the Wolves, Shooting Shadows, Rapture, Mercy of the Fallen, and the last song is called Keepers of the Keys. So that's the songs for the new album. Let's talk about the first song, Evil Eyes. What a great catchy guitar riff this has at the beginning of the song. This is a fantastic opening track. It reminds me of some of the songs off the previous album. It's got the heaviness, the classic vibe of old school metal. Now, I'm trying not to compare this album to Judas Priest, which is kind of hard in places because Richie has created some fantastic songs with Judas Priest. This song does have Judas Priest elements, but it's also got other elements like Michael Schenker. Ronnie's vocals are absolutely fantastic on this album, especially this song. It really does shine through. He's very strong, very charismatic singer, has a lot of vocal range and very powerful. This is an all-round classic heavy metal song with some kind of bluesy elements in places, but it's more of a heavy metal song, but a great opening track. It's called Evil Eyes. Next is Generation Me. If you're a fan of Black Sabbath or Trouble or even Candlemass, you're going to love this. It's definitely got blues and doom elements. It also reminds me a little bit of Black Label Society. It's certainly got a 70s and 80s vibe to it. And it also reminds me of the band UFO. Next is a song. It's called Bridges Burn. Now, this has been released as a lyrical video. If you've not seen it, I'll leave you a link to check out at the end of this review. For some reason, this song reminds me a little bit of the Dead Daisies. I can just imagine Glenn Hughes singing on this song. And if you're a fan of UFO or Michael Schenker, then you're in for a right treat with this song. It's called Burning Bridges. It's called Bridges Burn. Next is a song called Holy Roller. This is a really cool song, folks. Again, it reminds me a little bit of Dead Daisies, but it also reminds me of the band Lynch Mob or Dokken. Next is the song Holy Roller. This is a really cool song, folks. Like I said, there's a little bit of Dead Daisies in this song, but it also reminds me of the first Lynch Mob album. If you've got that album, you'll know what to expect. Lynch Mob were a great band featuring George Lynch. Next is the hard rock blues ballad. This is called Come Back to Me. Now, this is pretty much inspired by Michael Schenker and also Gary Moore. This song is definitely inspired by Rainbow and Deep Purple, but it's really well put together. Roddy's vocals are on top form and really shining through. Rich's guitar playing is phenomenal, and the rhythm section by Dave and Chris is absolutely phenomenal. Great all-around song, and if you do like your hard rock, ballad, blues, this is a great song for you to check out. Now, I think this album is a fantastic follow-up to the band's debut. Like I said, slightly different from the first album, but it's still got some heavy elements, hard rock and blues. There's a really good instrumental on here. It's called Rapture. It kind of reminds me of a cross between Michael Schenker on the guitar playing and also Mike Amott from the band Arch Enemy. Or maybe you could say John Norum, but it's a really well put together song, beautifully composed. Check it out, it's called Rapture. So I'm going to tell you what other songs you need to check out on this album when it's released at the end of this month. The Devil's Call, Thrown to the Wolves, which is a cult classic. Like I said, the instrumental Rapture, and also the last song, Keeper of the Keys. Great album, folks, a fantastic follow-up to the band's debut, really well produced, some fantastic constructed songs. I'm going to give this album 5 out of 5. It's on top form. Welcome back, guys. A great new album. So check out this album. Leave me some comments. Please subscribe and please share this on social media. And if you've not seen the interview, there'll be a link at the end of this review so you can check out the interview with me and Richie. Thanks for watching. More reviews coming soon. Take care, metalheads.